I told him I had a plan. I'm gonna do this, this, and that. And I stuck to the plan. I said, I'm gonna see you last. I didn't lie. I just stuck to what I felt in my spirit and what to do. You know, and that's what I did. And now we're here.
When you guys...
Yeah, I mean, he's getting ironed out regardless. Whether it's... however it comes. However it gets delivered.
Just, I don't know, I just matured and I just don't like him. That's it. I'm gonna go after him, I'm gonna go get him. Simple.
He would have been rendered unconscious. I'd have stomped on his head. I would have drop kicked him to his head. And then I would have lashed straight into him while he's unconscious.
Conor Benn appeared to slap Ryan Garcia at the face-off, and the boxing world has completely lost its mind. This was not a shove. This was not performance. This was a man placing his hand across another man's face in front of the entire sport. The professionals have seen enough, and nobody is staying quiet.
What do you think I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna come in there and take it straight to you. That's what I'm gonna do.
You have the fire now.
I ain't have the fire. I do it. This is what I do.
But anyways, I just want to make it clear, bro, I don't have anything against your religion. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, disrespect you in that way.
You have said in some interviews in the build-up that you think he's fake. That you say he says one thing to your face and does something different behind your back.
What I meant by that is, hey, like, I know we get friendly, but like, I know what's underneath that. Like, we're ready to go get his ass, like when they get that opportunity. So that's all I meant by that.
Garcia said what the entire boxing world was already feeling. Certain people in that sport carry themselves as though the rules simply do not apply to them, and Ben had been testing his luck for quite some time. The fact that Garcia felt absolutely no guilt tells you everything about where this rivalry truly stands beneath the surface.
It's like a guilty pleasure to be like, yes. Because, like, you never want somebody to get slapped or punched, but some people really deserve it, because usually I would feel bad. And when I've seen the second one, and I was like, ooh, I kind of feel bad. But something within told me, like, nah, he needed that. He needs to be humble, bro. Because
Whose side are you on? Tell us in the comments below. Ben described it as a minor scuffle, but then went on to say he would have had his hands around Garcia's throat if security had not stepped in. You cannot argue both sides, mate. Either it meant nothing or it was serious. That contradiction alone tells you Ben is fully aware of what he did.
I would never raise my fist to someone. A little push and a shove's all right, a little, you know, a little tussle, no problem. Putting your hands on somebody is very different, and I've never done that in my career. But if I'd seen him now, it would have been a lot worse than that. If the security weren't there and there weren't 5 men holding me back, I would have had my hands around.
This is the most dangerous form of confidence in boxing. Garcia was not raising his voice or falling apart emotionally. He was calm, composed, and completely assured. When a fighter tells you he could finish you in several different ways and simply chooses not to out of personal preference, that is not trash talk. That is a legitimate threat.
I do believe it. I feel like if I wanted to, I could outbox you. Like, if I just move on my bike and beat you, I could beat you like that.
Please.
I just don't want to do it.
Please.
Ultimately, I'm too young, too fast, too strong, and I'm going in there with a point to prove.
If I look at myself, me at my prime, I'm here. The way that Conor trains is absolutely, it's just another level, completely different. Completely different. I've never seen anybody train like my son. Never. The dedication that he's got, the will to win, the motivation.
Even a man who built his entire career around selling mayhem was measuring every word carefully. A promoter with that level of experience understands a gap between theater and real danger. And the manner in which he spoke made it clear that the situation had crossed a boundary even he was not fully at ease with.
Piss. But you can push me on like, if I say something that you don't think makes sense, I think it would be good for you to go, yeah, but...
Garcia stopped discussing boxing altogether and began talking about destruction. When a fighter brings up people dying inside the ring during a press conference, the mental switch has clearly already been flipped. Ben did not simply slap a boxer at a face-off. He put his hands on a man who is now coming to finish him completely.
I promise you I'm leaving him in a stretcher. I promise you I'm leaving him in a stretcher. If I gotta bite his ass, I'm leaving him in a stretcher. If I gotta twist his arm and break his arm in the ring, I will. This is not a fight to me, dog. I mean, this is not a boxing match. is a fight. I'm coming to destroy his life. And if you think I'm playing around, well, people have.
Ben calling anyone a coward during the same week. He appeared to slap someone at a face-off is a remarkable move. He is attempting to paint Garcia as someone who only speaks up when he feels protected. But the boxing world has already watched the footage and knows exactly who escalated the situation first.
Behaviour. Of course he wants it. Oh, what, you want the smoke now? You want to be vocal now? Coward.
So why are you saying that he's being vocal now?
Well, because I've just gone 10 rounds with Regis, probably. You know? But ultimately, his performance with Barrios weren't entertaining, weren't exciting.
A sharp media voice drew the comparison perfectly. The sport has a long history of lines being crossed at press conferences, and the boxing world has called out every single time. So why should Ben receive a pass here? He should not. And the fact that people are still debating it tells you how far the standards have fallen.
I mean, how many times have we seen boxers do things that they shouldn't do? You know, we saw Derek Chisora spit on Vitaly Klitschko.
We didn't need that.
I'm not offended by it.
We don't need
Tyson
thrown up there.
Tyson
and his costumes.
Yeah, we see Tyson Fury's dad headbutt the smallest Ukrainian he could find. You know, we're in this territory.
But we called that out.
Yeah,
should we not call this out?
Look, what it's between the.
Ben talked about proving doubters wrong and carrying a chip on his shoulder. But the problem is that chip has now become reckless conduct. Slapping an opponent at a face-off is not hunger. It is desperation from a man who quietly understands that the talent gap in this fight is very real.
Whatever question.
Irrelevant of all the noise, irrelevant of all the haters, irrelevant of all the no's you can't do. I'm going to go into this fight fueled with a chip on my shoulder to prove to the world that I will and will be the greatest WBC champion. So, you know, for me, to answer your question, I'm going to come out fast and put it on him and hopefully get him out there early.
Even the promoter acknowledged it crossed a line while still trying to protect the business side of things. There's a real difference between catching someone in a heated moment and deliberately using a face-off as an opportunity to put your hand on a man's face. One is instinct, the other is a calculated decision, and the boxing world saw it for exactly what it was.
Move. I really did.
Have you spoken?
I would never. If you chin someone at a presser, if you do that, it's different. But when you carry something on the stage to hit someone around the face with, I weren't mad on it. That's all.
But it does sell the fight.
Yeah,
and it's an absolutely
the fight's
massive
going to
fight.
sell anyway.
Interview 11. A fighter who has shared the ring with Ben gave his honest verdict and picked Garcia without a moment's hesitation. This is someone who understands precisely what Ben brings and still chose the other man. At 147 pounds, the required skill level is considerable, and one boxing professional made it very clear who he believes possesses it. Interview 12. This is the detail that shifts everything. Garcia's wife was present when Ben got physical. That transforms this from a boxing rivalry into something entirely personal. Garcia is not simply preparing to win a world title fight. He is now preparing to deliver a statement that reaches far beyond any scorecard.
And my wife was there, and he just pressed upon me, grabbed me. Yeah, so it's a little personal. So we'll be ready to go get him. Trust me, guys.
This leaked audio tells you everything about where this rivalry truly lives. It is ugly, it is raw, and it is completely personal on both sides. Whatever professional respect may have existed between these two men disappeared a long time ago. What happened at that face-off was simply the physical expression of that call.
Let's go, Conor!
You would not come over here to the States and beat me bro, you would not do it, bro. You suck.
Well, you want to come up to 147 and stand a chance against me? I would absolutely knock you. I would knock you in the mark out. I would knock you. you're coming with small dick energy. That's small dick energy. Small dick energy.
Hey, ask your girl how my taste. How about that?
A former world champion answered that question in a single word and felt no need to say much more. Easy. That is a damning verdict on Ben from someone who genuinely understands elite-level boxing. Talent wins fights, and one experienced voice in sport has made it entirely clear who he believes carries it in this match. That is among the most brutal pieces of mockery you will come across in boxing. A fighter suggesting Ben's only Hall of Fame contribution will be getting knocked out cold is savage, but the logic behind it is difficult to dispute. Ben has been speaking like a world beater, yet the boxing world keeps returning to the same question. Who has he actually beaten?
Conor Benn is a future Hall of Famer.
Why is that?
Because whoever knocks him out cold is gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and is gonna put his face on the Hall of Fame.
So you see him like a dead man walking, so to speak, I guess?
Yeah, no, he has a little bit of energy. You know, he's still got a little bit. You know, he's limping, but you know.
He straight away, called out Ryan Garcia. Ryan's been calling him out. It seems like that's the one that's at least they're both talking about it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, how about this, right? I made perfectly, like Conor Benn was over there begging for the fight with me, right? All stuff, which we had the whole deal set up, by the way. We had the whole deal set up, but he's over there in New York trying to cause all that commotion, all this stuff, right? He did it for clout. Same thing with this, bro. He might be doing this with Ryan for clout too. Like I said, they're over there trying to make all this stuff right. I'm gonna do that fake beef. And that's the thing, that's why it's like, bro, it throws me off, man. And then you go do all that fake beef, and then you want to go come over here and try to, you act like you're a big tough guy, and then go run off and not fight. And he might be doing that with Ryan, because Ryan knocked him out cold.
You see Ryan knocking Conor Benn out, huh?
Anyone, Devin Haney might knock him out cold. And that's saying a stretch.
That's a Devin Haney compliment from Rolly. That's kind of crazy.
Bro, dude, no. It's not even a compliment. It just shows how bad Conor Benn actually is.
September 12th, Las Vegas. A world title fight nobody expected to arrive this quickly. Ben has not competed at 147 pounds in 4 years. And now he walks directly into a WBC welterweight championship bout against one of the most dangerous men in the division. The face-off drama just sold this fight to every corner of the planet.
We are being told that September, the Mexican holiday in September, around about the 12th of September, Las Vegas, the destination, as Ryan Garcia of Mexican heritage will be defending his WBC welterweight championship. And he was on the Jimmy Fallon show this week, which is massive over in the States. He made a big announcement because he says that he's going to be fighting a certain fella from the United Kingdom in the shape of Conor Benn. What did you make of all that? And if just for a little bit of context on that, Conor Benn hasn't fought at 147 pounds flat for the last 4 years. His last fight was 150 pound catch weight against Regis Prograis. He hasn't hit 147 for 4 years. Still highly ranked with the WBC at 147, and now gets an opportunity, it seems, in September to be fighting.
One of Britain's most respected former champions did not hold back for a single second. He went straight for the credibility of Ben's resume and dismantled it publicly. Chris Eubank at 43 is not a world-class scout, and a man of that experience stating that Ben has no chance is not an opinion you can simply wave away.
We're going to have Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn in Vegas. We're going to have Canelo and Christian and Billy in Saudi Arabia. So time-wise, they'll both be able to see. You'll be able to see both. Canelo will go first in the morning, and then Ryan will go in the evening. But here he was on Jimmy Fallon. Let's take a listen.
And announced it tonight.
Yes.
When is it, and what can you say about this fight?
I can say that we are fighting September 12th. We'll be in Vegas. And the opponent, let's just say he's from the other side.
Yeah, so he obviously means across the pond.
Are you going to fight
He's across the pond, I'm sorry.
yeah. I thought maybe it was outer space. Like, all right, a lot of UFO talk and stuff like that, so I don't know if it was real.
Yeah, of the big reasons this fight's happening is because things are personal.
Interview 17. When a promoter who has worked closely alongside Ben publicly states he cannot see a path to victory for his own fighter at 147, you have to pause and take that seriously. That is not a throwaway comment. That is a man with inside knowledge of both camps telling the boxing world that the weight class alone could be the deciding factor before a single punch is even thrown.
You know, in terms of that fight, I think it's a good fight. You know, I don't think it's a big fight in America. I think it's a big fight in the UK. Obviously, Ryan's a big star in America, Conor's not. Ryan's a bigger star in the UK than Conor is in America, and Conor's a big star in the UK. So, yeah, I don't think it's a fight that's going to do massive numbers, but I like the fight. I think it's exciting. I think at 147, Ryan's a big fight. I don't think Conor should be fighting at 147. I think, you know, I like him up at 160 or up towards that weight class, but I don't see a way he beats Ryan Garcia at 147.
This is no longer just a boxing match. Conor Benn appeared to slap Ryan Garcia at a public face-off. Garcia's wife was present, and the whole thing is now confirmed for September 12th in Las Vegas, with a world title at stake. The stakes could not be higher. If Garcia wins this fight, he silences every critic who questions his mental state, proves his talent as elite at welterweight, and does it while settling something deeply personal. That combination makes him one of the most motivated fighters boxing has witnessed in years. But if Ben shocks the world, if he comes in hard and gets Garcia out of there early as he promised, then every doubter, every pundit, and every former champion who wrote him off will be forced to swallow their words in front of the entire sport. The real question is not who the better boxer is. The question is who holds together mentally when the spotlight is at its most intense and the personal fire is burning at its fiercest. Garcia has appeared ice cold throughout the build-up. Ben has looked like a man trying to convince himself just as much as everyone else. Who do you think walks out of Las Vegas carrying that belt?